Aloha and shalom. We're here for the final quarter activation. And the final quarter is all about closing up one cycle and preparing for the next, right? Because last week we had the full moon, which was like illumination, revelation, and we sit with that for a week. And the final week of the cycle, the final quarter moon, is all about processing everything that we received, everything that we saw, and creating a strategy out of that information so that we can move forward with the most grace, with the most ease, and with the least amount of crisis. So this activation is going to give us some keys as to how to do that. I love the final quarter. I love each stage for its own unique properties. The final quarter to me is really exciting because it's a time when we get to make commitments, make changes, prepare for the new. And it's like this in-between energy that's really fun. I really love the transitions in life, the in-betweens. Let me know in the comments where in the world you're tuning in from. And let me know if the connection is a little wonky. Let me know that you can hear me, okay? I'm tuning in from the Verde Valley, Arizona. Where in the world are you? Where in the world are you? Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. All right, giving thanks in advance for this message that's about to come through. Thank you, thank me, thank we, thank the one. We are grateful for this guidance as we close up one cycle and begin another a week from today. Beginning with the challenge and gift. Something we're launching from, stepping away from, thing that brought us here that we're now ready to let go of. And why we're going through this, which is kind of going to give a hint about the new moon to come. We have Phoenix in the house. Where in the world are you? Let us know in the comments. We have Georgia in the house. And as usual, we will pull a Hebrew letter as the main ally of the week. All right, are you ready? All right, beginning with the challenge and gift. Four of Swords, and I always love when this card comes up for the final quarter because it's so perfect for this part of the cycle. So first of all, it's a 4, right? And it's the 4th week of the cycle. It's the last leg. Think of like a table and the 4 legs, right? Like creating a foundation for the next layer to build. It looks like this. He's dead. No, it's metaphorical as always. And this card is all about, first of all, it's swords, it's challenges. It's about pausing and resting. And it's about going within. That's why it shows somebody resting here as though they're dead, okay? It's a time of rest and integration, which is exactly in alignment with this part of the cycle. So this is the challenge and gift. When it's pulled in this position, it's asking us, where are you struggling to go within right now? Okay, look to where you feel you need to act on the outside. Like you feel pressure to make a move on this or that, have a conversation about this or that. It's not about having the challenging conversation right now. First, we need to strategize. First, we need to go within. We need to be quiet. We need to be still. So where are you struggling to do that? Where and when are you finding it difficult to be still? Pull back your energy, close your eyes, and go within. The more you feel you need to throw your fire onto a situation, the more you feel you need to act, just think again. Just pause, if only for a moment. And then if you must act, at least take that momentary pause to align with your morals, to align with your values, to align with truth and with your heart where that all lives. And ask, am I doing this? Am I saying this? Or even am I thinking this with the most compassion? Because that's always going to help you refine your path. Okay? So again, this is the challenge and gift right now. So it's a challenge in that wherever we're finding it's a struggle to be still, that should put up like a little flag for you to be like, this is the opportunity. And it's a gift in that when you transcend that challenge, when you move through it, when you are successful, when you apply yourself with mindfulness and truth, then that challenge is converted into a gift. Then that struggle, that pain, that suffering, that darkness is alchemized into light, into goodness, into healing. So it's exciting. We don't need to be afraid. Oh, wow, I really can't be still. Wow, my mind is racing. Wow, I feel like I need to act on this. Perfect. None of this stuff is even real anyway. It doesn't even matter. It's all just opportunity for us to pause and take conscious action. Okay, so challenge and gift, 4 of Swords. Where can you be more internal? How can you pause, if only for a moment, to refine, to strategize, to weave compassion into your decision with what you're going to think, with what you're going to say, with what you're going to do? It's really a time to be thinking about all of the lessons that we just learned or are learning right now, right? Everything that's just been illuminated, all of the realizations we've come to. And first, integrate that, make sense of it, take the lesson out of it, and apply that to all areas of life. It's like right now is the point where if you feel like you need to make decisions, you may not have integrated enough yet, so you might be making decisions prematurely from a frequency that has not yet fully locked in from your old self just before this cycle. But there's a part of you that's integrating now that has just gone through some massive changes with this cycle, as we do every month. And you want to act from that place, but the frequency has not solidified. You have not attuned yourself yet fully to that frequency, and allow it to catch up to you first before you take action. And like I said, if you're pressed to make a decision right now, at least pause for a moment. Refine, realign with truth, with compassion, and you can't go wrong. Okay, now what we're launching from, King of Cups. Okay, and this is the archetype within us that acts on our heart, that acts on love. And on the shadow side, it could be like, we're not taking the right actions on our feelings. We're saying the wrong things, or we're speaking too soon, or we're speaking too late on our heart. But the positive side of this archetype is taking conscious action around expressing our feelings, saying the right things at the right time from the heart. So likely, we've all been experiencing a combination of the light and the dark of this archetype, because that's the thing, guys, we don't do reversals here, okay? Because we want to stay aware of how that archetype is showing up both positively and negatively, because we're beings of polarity and duality. So it's important to think, how have I been this archetype in the light and in the dark? Either way, what this is saying in this position we pulled it in is this. Our feelings and how we've been choosing to express them or not express them, and our process of trying to understand our feelings and how we're going to express them or not. Okay, all of our feelings around our heart, our desires, all that has led us to this moment where now it's time to process, like, oh wow, this is what I've really been feeling in my heart this past month. And these are the ways that I expressed it that were like positive and really beautiful and brought about healing. And these are the ways, right, I'm saying from within, these are the ways that I expressed my heart and my feelings in a way that actually didn't really feel so good. Or these are the ways that I expressed my heart and I didn't like how it was received. Or I did love how it was received. These are all the reflections we're doing right now, right? We've been in this energy. And now at the end of this lunar cycle, we're coming to a time where it's like, oh, let me reflect on all that. Let me reflect on how I've expressed my heart and how it's been received, or how others around me have expressed their heart, taken action on their feelings, and how I have either received it or not. So now you can see we're getting specific with the combination of these two, right? Like now's the time to process everything we've learned and been seeing and all that's been revealed to us in the realm of love and expression of feelings and the heart, but not only our own, but that of others around us, because we are one. So we're getting specific here. It's really right now about processing how we've given and received love, how we've expressed what we feel, and how we've received what others have been feeling. And it's time to just refine and mature so that this guy, the King of Cups within, the one who acts on our feelings, that's why it's a man, it's just denoting our active force. How can we move into the next cycle with more of a maturity, a better strategy as to how we are going to express what we feel, right? In a way that's healthy and healing for all as one, in a way that is done with purpose, and how we are going to receive the feelings, the expressions of others' feelings in a way that is productive and positive for the highest good of all as one. So it's not a time to keep expressing. It's not a time to like overthink, overanalyze our feelings. It's just a time simply to go within, be still, be quiet, and look at all the ways that we have been dealing with our feelings and expressing them and receiving the feelings of others, etc. And we're going through this. So there goes our major arcana. We have 9, the Hermit, aka the Sage. And this is showing that we are experiencing all this right now so that we can be more mature, so that we can be more introspective when it matters most, so that we can stay connected to the bigger picture, right? So that we don't become lost in our obsessions or our lust, so that we can come back to the true meaning of love and fulfillment of the heart. That's what the Suit of Cups represents. So that we don't get lost, so we don't lose ourselves in our feelings or in our relationships. We're going through this, taking a pause and looking at all the ways we've expressed and received love so that we can ultimately come back to purpose and what it truly means for the one to chase that fulfillment of the heart, to fill that cup. Okay, so that's the point right now, is we're pulling back so we can see how we may have lost ourselves in our feelings, in our emotions, in our expressions of all of that. And how we may have been selfish or experiencing limited thinking because of our own selfish desires, because of our ego one way or another. So we've closed up to love that could have been positive for the purpose of bringing heaven to earth, because the Sage, the Hermit, knows and always remembers that purpose, that plan. But ultimately, that's what it's all about. That's what the Sage knows. So we're remembering that again. And to give you an example, it could look like this. I was so mean to this person who was trying to give me love because I just felt like they were trying to get something from me, or I just felt like they wanted to be with me and I didn't want to be with them. So I gave them, closed up energy. But when we review that now at this time of the final quarter moon, we're really looking back at that and processing that. We can go, wow, next time what I would do is I would invoke agape, right? Like true love, true compassion. And instead of closing my heart to that person, I would see it as an opportunity to feed that love, redirect that energy for the highest good of the one. And I might not be mean or close my heart. I would keep my heart open and give that person compassion, patience, understanding, and have a conscious conversation from that place of love in my heart, because we don't need to be mean. We never actually need to close our heart. The whole goal here is to keep it open. There are different kinds of ways that we express love, right? There are different expressions of love. And ultimately the goal is to transmute all the different kinds into agape, or into, as Edith Agape tunes into the live here, we see, or translate that love into divine love, compassion for all beings. So the goal here then is to see, when we put these 3 cards together, what we see is an opportunity to rest and reflect right now on all the ways that we have expressed and received love, and come back to the sage, the wise one, and say, how can I refine the way that I give and receive love, using this past month as a like a reflective cycle, as a catalyst, as like a ritual to affect how I'm going to give and receive love in the future, in the name of the highest good of all is one. How can I look at the ways that I've given and received love, perhaps like unconsciously, perhaps losing myself, come back to myself, my true highest self, which is one with all of life, and refine the way I express and the way I receive love, directing all of it for the highest good of the one, always keeping my heart open in the name of that highest good and in the name of bringing heaven to earth. And ultimately, when we say, you know, expressing and receiving love, we're speaking to our masculine and our feminine counterparts, because that's what all of this reality is those forces of polarity holding one another up, right? And so when we say, you know, how can I refine the way I express and receive love, we're saying, how can I refine my polar forces? How can I fine tune the way that I give love, express it, my masculine, the King of Cups? And how can I fine tune the way that I receive that love, my feminine, my Queen of Cups? If you take all, this is a pro tarot tip, if you take all the kings out and all the queens out and you put them side by side, you will get a really good ritual to access your masculine and feminine polarities within those kings and queens. And why? Because there are 4 kings and 4 queens, one for each of the elements. And we're made of the 4 elements. So when you take those 4 elements and you take the masculine and feminine aspects of each of those elements, you have a complete system to access and play with and transform your own forces of polarity. So you can start there. You can take the kings and queens out and look at them in your own reflection and refine how you express and receive those energies. Okay. So ultimately, when we say right now is a time to look at how we've expressed and received love, and how can we refine that in the name of the highest good is one, we're really deep down talking about how can I refine my masculine and feminine polarities. Okay. So let's look at the ways that I've expressed love. How have I been in my divine masculine, right? Meaning, how have I been in my active polarity, my active element? Have I been giving that love, expressing my feelings from a place that's balanced, elementally speaking? Meaning, has my fire been expressed in a masculine way, right? Because masculine is expression, feminine is receiving. So we're talking about the masculine first. Have I been offering my fiery masculine, my King of Wands, by the way, in a way that doesn't burn, but in a way that inspires? Have I been expressing my King of Cups in a way that is healthy, right? That's that watery king, the emotional one. Really being open with my heart and vulnerable and transparent, rather than overly sensitive and taking things too personally, and that's showing in my expression. Moving to swords, the King of Swords. A lot of you will know the swords as air, but if you read my book, I teach that the swords is actually earth. So how have I been expressing my feelings in a way that is gentle and not overbearing? Physically speaking, like my physical energy, how have I been expressing my feelings? And then Pentacles, which I teach as air. How have I been coming off in expressing my feelings in a way that's like intelligent and useful and not futile and like unnecessary, unintelligent? Okay, so that the masculine is all about expression. How have I been expressing my feelings? Expressing, masculine. How have I been expressing my feelings in a way that's balanced, elementally? And then speaking of the feminine, how have I been receiving the feelings of others? And then again, we go through the elements. Have I been receiving in a way that doesn't take things personally? Have I been receiving in a way that's gentle and loving and receptive? All those things. So when we make our life's journey, when we make our process about the highest good of the one, which the sage knows is always the plan, when we make our life's path about bringing heaven to earth. Then, from that space of remembrance, grounding into that purpose, we can look back at the ways that we've expressed and received feelings, emotions, love. Not just love, right? Like all feelings. Like even anger. How have I been expressing those feelings and receiving those feelings from a place of balance? Then we can look and really refine our process in connecting it to our purpose. Only then, when we connect it to our purpose, can we really get all the way through. And it takes a commitment and devotion to looking at the different elements and what they represent, the different realms, emotions, our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, our passion, our purpose, our bodies. Dedicating all of these dimensions of self to the one purpose, uniting these dimensions in the one ideal of bringing heaven to earth. And when we do that, we unify the self. We come present, whole and holy. And then from that strong, empowered, compassionate space, we can move forward into a new cycle with the clear intention of giving and receiving feelings, communicating in the realm of emotion from a balanced place in a way that's going to bring more healing to one and all. And the ally of the week is the Zion. It looks like this. Of course, it's flipped because we're on the camera. And it's the 7th letter of the alphabet. And it's connected to Arcanum 7, the Conqueror, aka the Chariot. And this ally simply reminds us what we are to use our strength for, our force, our life force, energy. It reminds us that we're here to conquer nothing but the lower aspects of the self, because all there is self. So if we aim to conquer, what is it that we really want to conquer? The lower aspects of self so that we can rise above. And so in the light of this message, the Zion says, or the Chariot, the Conqueror says, remember, we're only here to conquer those lower aspects of the self so that we can rise higher, so that we can bring the light of heaven to earth, so that we can bring the soul into body and the heaven to earth. So we're going to realign with that purpose individually and collectively and commit to not losing ourselves in our feelings and our relationships, maintaining an open heart and communicating from there, expressing all feelings, the whole spectrum through the heart with the intention of healing for all parties, because we are one. Meaning if you feel anger, I remember that force that's coming through me, oh yes, it's to be directed for the highest good of all beings, including that one that I'm directing my anger at right now. Oh yeah, let me go back to the heart, express through there, to there, from my heart to their heart, because it's one. So the Zion reminds us that we are to use our life force and our power for the highest good of the one. We are not here to lose ourselves in our feelings, in our relationships. We are never to close our heart. We are to keep it so wide open, ever wider open, because the expansion, the journey of expansion of the heart is infinite. And it's in alignment with our eternal journey of bringing more light to this planet. Okay, so the goal is to keep the heart open so that this force, this power that we feel as it rises up, it comes always through the heart and goes back to the heart. As we keep our heart open, expanding, it becomes ever easier to stay grounded in purpose and to be sure we don't misuse our power. Okay, so the degree to which your heart is open is equal to the degree to which you are capable of not losing yourself, of not becoming an egomaniac, and using your power for lesser reasons than what we came here to use it for. Again, the degree to which your heart is open will determine the degree to which you are capable of staying in a space of humility and using your power for the highest good of the one. Okay, the Zion can really lead us to ego, right? The conqueror, the chariot, think about it. It's like, yeah, power, victory, yeah, force. But the more we keep our heart open, the more it balances that feeling. It's like the head and the heart, right? So it's all about keeping the ego in check. So we have to keep our heart opening. Never close it when we feel like we want to close it, or we want to dedicate our process that we go through in the emotional realm, right? Our expression of feeling, or our receptivity to the expression of that feeling of others. We want to make sure that we keep the heart open always. Otherwise, the ego slips in. We forget our purpose. We forget why we're even here. Okay? So we are remembering that our power is to be used for the divine plan of bringing heaven to earth. We are staying as that sage, remaining open to the bigger picture so that we don't lose ourselves in our expression of love. We don't forget what the real purpose or plan is here as we work to stay open in our hearts to receive the expressions of others through that space, whether it's anger, whether it's joy, love, frustration, whatever it is we or the other is feeling. We picture that open heart, which is the tunnel, the gateway to one another, the thing that unites us. We're here to open that space, to bring light to that space so that it fills the gap between us all. Happy final quarter, y'all. I'll see you for the new moon, and by then I expect that we'll all be feeling more aligned in our purpose, be feeling a little more wise, be feeling a little more grounded and centered, taking our power back so that we can be rooted in the here and now, not giving it to all these futile situations, these relationships that weren't going anywhere, or these relationships perhaps that we were pursuing from a place of selfishness or lust or greed or whatever it is. Pursuing relationships through vice rather than virtue, right? So we're moving into the new moon, and by then we're going to feel, like I said, grounded in the here and now, grounded in our purpose, so that we are giving and receiving energy in a way that is feeding the divine plan. Moving in a way that remembers we're here to serve the one and not just like our selfish lower desires, because that doesn't get us anywhere. So we're refining the way that we talk to others, the way that we express ourselves and what we feel, and the way that we receive the feelings of others, remembering it's not even about any of this. It's not even about the small self. It's all about the larger oneself and the light we are bringing to that oneself that's going to go on beyond this lifetime. So make it purposeful, make your path meaningful. That's why we're here. And for those of you who asked where my voice went, I've been to a few events in the last few days, a really joyous wedding the other night, and there was a lot of screaming. Enjoy. Talk about expressing feelings. I've been doing a lot of that. So it's a good sign, y'all. It's a sign that I'm aligned with the activation and the archetypes. And thank you to everybody who's reached out about my new hardcover copy of my first book. It was first published in 2020. So I recently republished The Royal Path 1 in a beautiful hardcover. I made lots of edits and added in an awesome epilogue. So thank you to everybody who's ordered. Your books will be going out this week. And if you want to get on that train and receive a book, in the same shipment, reach out. Otherwise, take your time. There'll be more to come. Just email me, info@royalpathtarot.com, or private message me and let me know that you want a book. I'll include a really special bookmark for my personal tarot deck collection, because I only use this deck, you guys. And I have so many decks. And so I just pull a random card from my big box of 1,000,000 cards, and I make that your bookmark. And I'd love to sign a little personal message. You can always purchase my books on Amazon. Of course, I prefer to send the book from my hands to yours, but you're welcome to check it out on there. There are over 60 reviews on there. If you've been on the fence, check them out. And on that note, if you want to give back for these activations, if they've served you in some way, please leave me a review. Facebook.com/RoyalPathTarot. There's an option to leave a star rating, or email me your review, info@RoyalPathTarot.com, or make a donation I so appreciate everybody who's been donating over the years. My Venmo is Rebecca-Magic with a CK. I have various other ways to donate. If Venmo's not the one for you, just reach out, DM me, or again, send me an email. Also, send me an email or DM me if you want a one-on-one reading. I do live or recorded. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. I got you. I have every platform. Email me, info@royalpathtarot.com. I'll see you next week for the new moon. Shalom.